And welcome back to Memorial Stadium. Glad you can join us here on this Friday night high school football here in Vicksburg. The Gators back in action as Vicksburg will take on Canton coming up here in just a few moments. Tough loss for the Gators last week. We'll try to put that in the rearview mirror and focus on Canton. That game's coming up here in just a few minutes. Charles Edmond, TJ Mayfield, and we're joined by Coach McDaniel. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great.
You always have told me that these losses don't sit well with you, and I'm sure last week's loss was the same.
Yeah, absolutely. We've come down to the last play or two over the past 2 weeks, and we didn't get it done, And you go back and, like I said, you continue to watch film, continue to get better. You find your mistakes, and you try to make sure that you keep the kids positive, you stay positive, because there's a lot of things that's surrounding you, so you have to let them know if they're not in the field house with you every single day that their opinion does not matter. We have a really good football team, played 2 really good 6A programs. I would probably, if they were ranked, I would probably rank them between 8 and 16, so we played 2 solid programs that's going to get us ready for our district, and it starts tonight.
It does start tonight. And really, I mean, this is the few years that I've been here in this town, Vicksburg-Warren Central rivalry. From all accounts, there was 5,000 people in the house last week. And that was just a huge, huge game. And it was a game in which you found a way to hang in and just couldn't quite get over the hump and trying to win the game. I mean, because Warren Central made plays, but we were able to hang in. Our defense was able to hang in, and that just shows you the fight of this team.
Right. So they continue to play, The game was neck and neck. They had 167 total yards of offense. So did we.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns to their 2, but they kicked two field goals to put them over the edge. And right now our kicking department, is a work in progress because we lost our kicker last week. So we are 3 extra points away from winning 21-20. But still in all, it was a great football game, great atmosphere. We just came up on the short end of the stick.
Your defense held Warren Central, who scored a ton against Forest Hills with 167 yards. So let's start there. What has impressed you about your defense through the first 2 games?
Well, they pretty much don't give up big plays. We gave up 1 big play last week at the beginning of the half, but defensive back kind of fell asleep because they so run heavy, But we've only gave really one big play, and they just play together. They run to the football. They read their keys. Defensive line is doing an excellent job. Linebackers are doing a great job of making the plays behind them, and the secondary is doing a great job of not giving up big plays besides that one. So, tremendous hat off to those guys. They are playing extremely hard. We see it every single day, but we have to find ways to put some more points on the board and get these W's, Like I said, these 2 programs have helped us prepare for 5A football. And, we got to find a way to win those games, But the combined points over the past 2 weeks is 24-24. Previous years, it's probably from the Red River Classic and the Red Carpet Bowl, River City Classic and Red Carpet Bowl, the score has been really lopsided, 80-6 and things like that. So I tell the kids, you are doing great things, Don't get down about it. Just let's continue to play good defense, let's play solid offense, and let's get these special teams together.
This game, this Vicksburg-Warren Central game, seems to linger on. It's not one of those that you play it on a Friday night and then you just kind of put it in your pocket and then you pull it back out the week of the game next year, which will be right here at Vicksburg High School. This particular rivalry, these games get talked about for the next 357 days. It seems like which is a good thing, but at the same time, it just reminds you just how special this rivalry is because it's talked about all year.
Right, well, we're going to let the fans continue to talk about that. We're not going to let our last game beat us tonight. So we want to make sure that we go out there and we hit on all cylinders. The first district game, and, to be honest, it's the most important game, We still have a lot of meat and potatoes left in this season, and I tell the kids it's 3 seasons within one. You have your non-conference, which we just finished. Now we have the district, our conference, and we have the playoffs coming up. So we have 8 games in our district, so we can't let these last 2 dictate what happens with our district play.
They say the biggest improvement is between week 1 and week 2. So, Coach, talk about the biggest improvements in your football team from Germantown to Warren Central.
Well, I thought we had the tenacity going into Germantown. When we got to Warren Central, we executed a little bit better, but go back and look at film, we still left some big runs on the table, so we didn't get all the meat off that bone. And could have been some plays that helped determine the game, but we didn't get it done. So it's best to go back and look at film and just make sure the guys understand what we did not execute. And we didn't execute on 4 or 5 plays that first half that was really there for us, but we didn't get the job done. So take this into Canton, we want to make sure we continue to play with that physical edge, that tough edge, but we want to make sure we execute. You playing hard and you playing hard wrong are two things, so 2 different things. So you want to make sure while you're playing hard the right way. So those are the things that we talked about this weekend. Yesterday was probably one of our best practices since we started, since August 1st. So, we hope that momentum takes, and then coming into the night, we have to take that momentum into tonight and, handle Canton.
Well, you talked about the game last week, 167 total yards. The yardage was even. Out of that 167 yards, Corey Knight had 118 of those. Just talk about the seasons he's having so far.
Well, he's a tremendous talent. The young man is a real football player. He's lightning in a bottle. So we have to find a way to get him the ball more and get Malik Montgomery rolling, get Johnny Smith together, Alex Jefferson together. We kind of been bogged down. And just to be honest with you, our receivers get those guys going, but we kind of been behind in the chains for different reasons, jumping outside or holding, and we're bagged up, and so we can't follow the offensive game plan that we wanted to follow. So hopefully we can correct all of that and clean up our game, and we were able to clean it up. We could very well be sitting here 2-0, but the reality is that we are 0-2. Played some tough games, and we didn't play out great games, but we still was right there at the end to win the football game. If we can make sure that we clean up everything we have, our dreams can come true for us, district championship and going deep into the playoffs, North State. So that's what we're hunting for right now.
You talk about the things that need to be cleaned up, the penalties. Just set you back, those pre-snap penalties. How, with this offense, how devastating, well, I would say devastating is the right word.
Well, it hurts.
How tough is it to overcome when you're constantly behind the chains, 1st and 15, 1st and 20, 3rd and 10?
Focus. We need more focus. Our snap counts are the same. We've been working it on all summer. Just focus. Doing the things that you're supposed to do. We had a great drive. We started on our own 10-yard line, drove it down to their 42 or 43-yard line. It was 3rd and 3. We jump outside to kill a drive. And that hurt. That could have possibly been a game-winning drive because they didn't stop us. Once again, I told our kids that the only people who can beat us is us. And we've done a great job over there over the past 2 weeks. We beat ourselves.
We're talking with Vicksburg High coach Todd McDaniel as we get ready for the district opener coming up here against Canton. Coach, talk about Ronnie Alexander, just managing this team, managing this offense, especially in these big games. How he's able to do some things. You're able to move the pocket a little bit, and you talked about at the beginning of the season, and it's still early, and trying to stretch the field a little bit more.
Right.
I mean, that obviously is still the game plan. How is that coming along?
Right. Well, we got to turn him loose. He had a great day in practice yesterday. He had some great passes down the field, some intermediate passes and some short passes, and we got to put more on his shoulders, because he can really get it done. We sprint out for various reasons. We bootleg for a lot of different reasons. I can't tell everybody why we do that, but tonight I'm hoping and praying that we have that same momentum we had in practice all week long. Probably the best week of practice that we've had, So we want to get those playmakers the football, one way, shape, form, or fashion, or another, you know. So, but we're going to put more on Ronnie's back. You know, we came in and we went in the huddle yesterday, and we lined up, and the defense shifted front, and we have our signals, our code words, and they shifted front, and they stopped the play. The offensive line came back and said, "Brandon, why you didn't check it?" You know, and then he looked at me and said, "You the quarterback. You know what it is. Check it." You know.
Yeah.
So those are just, you know, oh, I am the quarterback. Yeah, you the general on the field. You know. So check it. You know, check it to the proper play. You see it. You know what you're looking at. So you can check it. You know, I'm not gonna be mad if you check it wrong. So be it. You know. But the thing is not you want to check it to the best play, but you want to get out the worst play. You know, so Ronnie is growing up, and like I said, he has great talent. I wish if he was 4 or 5 inches taller, Nick Saban would be down here, but he's not. So, but the young man is going to be able to lead, and he's going to lead us the right way. And this is just the beginning. Nowhere near the end yet.
Just thinking about the game last week that when we made it 20-18. Talk about that play that going for 2 and didn't quite get there. Talk about that play. What didn't happen there?
Right. Well, the first thing I had to tell the kids, we're not going to play the blame game. You know, I actually thought that we had a power sweep called, and it was on, and they walked the backers down, but all the backers was picked up. And I think maybe the moment was a little bit too big for our tight end. And I'm talking about, it was a tremendous bubble there. It was beautiful, and I just counted it up. I'm looking at it, and I was so confident in the play. From there, the way they lined up, I was so confident in it. My mind was focused on, okay, overtime, and we missed a block. We froze. I think the moment maybe was a little bit too big. He's a sophomore, going to be a really good football player though. But I mean, the guy just dipped his shoulder and got in the backfield, made the play. Everybody else was washed down and blocked. It's very similar to the week before, but we just didn't hit the hole, you know. So. It's just those type of things, and hey, you want to win, but it didn't happen that night, you know. So let's move on, you know, and get and correct those mistakes. And you know, he told me, "Coach, it's not going to happen anymore." I said, "Hey, baby, you know, we all live and learn." For instance, my little kicker, you know, he walked off the field and said, "Coach, I was scared." Hey, I respect that. I appreciate you telling me that, because. Just tell me something. Tell me what's going on. And I mean, he was great in practice, but he kicked the center dead square in the behind with the ball, you know. So he said he was scared.
Yeah.
You know, so let's roll.
Special teams was really big, Coach. 92-yard kickoff return by Mickey. You're getting some good plays, some good stuff on special teams. But for all the talk about the kicking, you're getting some good returns there, which could yield even more benefits down the road.
Right. So, you know, those are things that we thought we had completely shored up over the summer, but, you know, hey, knock on wood, you know, things happen, you know. So we lost our kicker, but now Nick Mickey is doing a great job. We worked on our returns all summer. We're working on punt blocks. So, you know, we had our great idea that we were going to block some punts or whatever, and we thought we was going to get a return, you know what I mean? So that worked out. So we're going to only get better.
The block last week, that was huge. That kind of set things up. It was kind of interesting. It was we got on, a 15-yard line, or 10, whatever it was, and it seemed like we were going inch by inch there, and on that fourth down at the 1/8 inch line, we found a way to get it in. But just a grind of that. But it started with a good punt block, so that just adds to the positivity on special teams.
Right, it really does. And those guys, like I said, we've been working extremely hard, you know. So we're going to continue to go out to punts. We're going to continue to try to return kicks and punt returns, you know. We want to try to score in all phases of the football game, you know. So tonight, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go out to punts. We're going to prepare our kickoff return team. We're going to prepare guys to be successful.
I tell you what, the one thing that I noticed when we get big plays out on that second level, out in space, your skill guys are quick, fast, and they can't be caught. I mean, that last touchdown, the moves that were made to juke and to get space and to get separation, there's a lot of speed at the wideout position on this Gator team.
Right. Well, you know, we're going to try to make sure we get those guys the football. You know, Defensively, Warren Central was very stout up front. They outweighed us all the way across the front, but my kids played extremely well, and those are the type of things that we have to do when we play teams like that. This is not, we're preparing our guys for the second and third round of the playoffs when we see those type of fronts, So be able to get that ball on the perimeter and let our athleticism take over.
Well, let's look at tonight. Canton lost to Germantown, a close game there, 35-22. They beat Velma Jackson in the season opener 14-12. So what do you know about this Canton team as they come in here?
Well, Canton, they're a big play offense. They're gonna throw it deep about 10 to 12 times. And they've been able to come down with it 2 or 3 times per game. So we got to be on our P's and Q's in the secondary. We have a great secondary, but they got a quarterback that can deliver it down the field. I hadn't seen them do a whole lot of 10, 15 play drives. It'll be a horizontal type offense until they try to stretch it. So we're gonna have to get out there and make sure we take care of the perimeter and make sure we take care of our deep thirds.
So this is a big strike, big play attack we're facing.
Right. Right.
Kind of reminds me, when you think about that, kind of reminds me a little bit, even though we only had a sample size, of Natchez. They were trying to push the ball down the field.
Right. So, we can't fall asleep. They're going to push it down the field as much as possible, So we got to make sure that we are on our P's and Q's, make sure we stay in our thirds and quarters and be able to cover those guys and not let them get behind us.
You talked about this week of work. Obviously a tough loss last week. People are still talking about it. Probably will be talking about it for the next 51 weeks. But now this is the most important time, district play. Getting that started, getting it going here before we kind of hit the road a little bit. It's been a very Vicksburg high-friendly schedule. You got red carpet and then Warren Central and then Canton here before we hit the road. So a lot of opportunity at home to be able to get a lot of stuff done.
Right. Gives our fans the opportunity to see us, but we deserve it. We hit the highway quite a bit last year. So it's our turn to kind of reap some of those benefits of not having to get on the road every weekend and traveling up to Neshoba or back Cleveland Central a few years ago, So we get an opportunity to reap some of those benefits of being able to play in the confines of our own home field, and it makes a difference, going over to Warren Central 2 weeks in a row, those are not home games, That's a 15-minute bus ride. Every time you have to get on that bus, it's an away game, So that doesn't make it any better, But I'm glad we just don't have to go over there and play all our home games like I did my first year here,
Yeah.
So, but we're glad to be at home. We're glad to be in the swamp, and hopefully that when we line up tonight, that our kids are going to protect our home field.
Sounds like your players put that Warren Central game in the rearview mirror based on what you've seen at practice this week.
Well, we got to. We can't let that one game dictate the rest of our games, Truth be told, it's a great game for the community, but that's not the biggest games on our season. The biggest games on our season are our district games, Of course, we want to win that game. We want our kids and parents and community to have the bragging rights, but that's over with now. So let's play Canton.
Let's get them.
Let's get them.
That's Vicksburg High Coach Todd McDaniel here on the pregame show. Yours truly, TJ Mayfield, with the call coming up here from the swamp after this timeout.